Typically, films and video games have a very sour relationship. While some titles do make the effort of making a fun experience, but more often than not, these type of games boil down to not only being unentertaining, but they also insult the original source material. Developed by Rainbow Studios and published by LucasArts in 2002, Star Wars Racer Revenge is a sequel to their other game, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. So is the Force with this one, or has it gone to the dark side?
Our winner is Anakin Skywalker!
The game opens up with a brief story, as it takes place 8 years after the events of The Phantom Menace. Sebulba, the racer who was beaten by Anakin Skywalker, plans to get revenge after his humiliating defeat. The story in Racer Revenge is serviceable as far as context is concerned, but other than that it has little to no plot. Although it justifies why the older Anakin is in the game and why Sebulba's craft looks different to the original, but if you're expecting a deep narrative, you won't find it in Star Wars Racer Revenge. The game has 3 different modes, which contain your single race, offline multiplayer and tournament mode. Ultimately, the player will be spending most of their time in the tournament mode, where you'll race through a series of cups while upgrading your chosen pod racer. More characters are unlocked as you progress, and as you win races, you will earn credits that can be used to upgrade your machine. However, winning races conventionally isn't always the ideal solution.
Oh, look at that abuse!
Between events, you can participate in Watto bribes to earn extra credits. How much money you earn depends both on the track and how much opposition you take out. For example, if you eliminate 2 enemies, the payout will be 30%, while on another track it could be a 50% payout. There are no weapons to utilise in Racer Revenge, as you have to manually smash your opposition until the health meter depletes. On a whole, the game is very basic, and the racing is fast and exhilarating. The controls are responsive and manageable, even when you do start applying the upgrades. But despite these points in its favour, unfortunately it can't hide its numerous shortcomings.
Oh, is there a Bitcoin in the house?
Since the other competitors can withstand so much damage, I found that eliminating my opposition within 3 laps was not only a chore, but it takes away the racing aspect from the game. It also doesn't help that the game forces you to do these tasks in order to max out your pod racer, as replaying completed events isn't an option. Add to the fact you have to do this for all characters, it makes the leveling up process both repetitive and monotonous. Finally, the AI you go up against are not aggressive, as they don't put up much of a fight, not to mention the game suffers with some rubber banding issues. The presentation of Star Wars Racer Revenge is a mixed bag. On one hand, the character models and their ships are respectable for a 2002 game, but the environments they race around in do look barren in comparison. While there is the odd few tracks that stand out, but for the most part the locations you'll race around in are dull, not to mention visiting the same locations over and over again does get repetitive. The sound design is okay and does get the job done as far as the pod races are concerned, the voice acting is serviceable, and the music is what you expect for a Star Wars game. Ultimately, Star Wars Racer Revenge comes off as a subpar racing game. Despite its responsive controls, fast racing and the variety of characters, it's held back by poor design choices, a lack of modes, repetitive gameplay and inconsistent visuals. It has its moments, but it has given itself to the dark side.